John Jones Hewson was born at Swansea, on the 2nd of September 1874, the son of John Jones and Elizabeth Hewson, proprietors of the Union Workhouse, Mount Pleasant, Swansea. He had an older sister Jane and a younger brother Howell. Known as Jones Hewson, singer and actor, he created and portrayed baritone roles with the D'Oyly Carte Opera Company from 1894 to 1901. He joined the D'Oyly Carte Opera Company in 1894 as a member of the chorus of the original production of Mirette at the Savoy Theatre in London. Jones Hewson began in the chorus of the company, but soon moved up from smaller roles to larger ones on tour and then again from smaller roles to larger ones at the Savoy Theatre in London, earning critical praise. During his time with the company, he played more than 24 of the baritone and bass baritone roles in its repertory, and he created several roles in new Savoy operas, including the Herald in The Grand Duke, Baron Vincentius in His Majesty, Nicholas Dirks in The Beauty Stone and the Earl of Newtown in The Emerald Isle. He soon went on tour with the company, doubling in the small roles of Captain Corcoran and Calinx in Utopia Limited and playing Frankel in Mirette. In early 1895, he took the larger roles of Mr. Goldberry in Utopia, Gerard de Montigny in Mirette, Tommy Merton in The Vicar of Bray, and Ferdinand de Roxas in The Chieftain. Reverting to smaller roles later that year, but took on the new bass baritone roles of Sergeant Bouncer in Cox and Box that summer and Aric in Princess Ida in the autumn. Back at the Savoy Theatre in November 1895, he played Pish-Tush in a revival of The Mikado, adding the role of Saleworthy in The Curtain Raiser after all, a role that he would play whenever this piece was revived at the Savoy. In March 1896, he created the role of the Herald in the original production of The Grand Duke at the Savoy Theatre, earning an encore from the Savoy audience and praise from the critics. Occasionally, he substituted for Rutland Barrington in the lead role of Ludwig in The Grand Duke, again playing Pish-Tush in the Savoy's revival of The Mikado in 1896 and 97, sometimes playing the title role or Pooh-Bah during the run. Next he created the role of Baron Vincentius in His Majesty, also substituting at times in the larger role of King Mapolio. Later the same year he played Sir Richard Cholmondeley in the first Savoy Theatre revival of The Yeoman of the Guard to Good Notices and added the role of the Right Honourable Claude Newcastle in The Curtain Raiser, Old Sarah, another role that he repeated in revivals. In The Grand Duchess of Gerolstein, he played Captain Hochheimer and sometimes Baron Grog. He appeared at the benefit performance of Trial by Jury held for Nellie Farron in March 1898. Later that year at the Savoy, he played Louis in the first Savoy revival of The Gondoliers, created the role of Nicholas Dirks in The Beauty Stone and played Sir Marmaduke Poindexter in a revival of The Sorcerer. He also played the counsel to the plaintiff in Trial by Jury and Sir Marmaduke in The Sorcerer when they were revived together in the autumn of 1898. In the same year he married the actress Brenda Gibson. They had one son. Jones Hewson went back on tour at the beginning of 1899, reprising his role of Tommy Merton in The Vicar of Bray, and then toured in 7 leading baritone roles in repertory: Captain Corcoran in HMS Pinafore, the Pirate King in Pirates, Lord Montararet in Iolanthe, the title role in The Mikado, Sergeant Merrill in Yeoman, Giuseppe in The Gondoliers and Mr. Goldberry in Utopia Limited, until August 1899, when he left the company for 10 months. He returned to the D'Oyly Carte Opera Company at the Savoy as a replacement for the role of Abdullah during the original production of The Rose of Persia in the summer of 1900. After this, he played the Pirate King in Pirates and Colonel Calverley in the first Savoy revival of Patience, in each case earning approval from the Times. At a lecture by Sir Alexander Mackenzie, on Sir Arthur Sullivan, given in May 1901, at which musical illustrations were given by members of the Savoy Company, the Times singled out Hewson. A special word of praise is due to Mr. Jones Hewson's delightful singing of "This Helmet, I Suppose," from Princess Ida. His last part for the D'Oyly Carte Company was the Earl of Newtown, which he created in the original production of The Emerald Isle beginning in April 1901. Jones Hewson's health deteriorated, having contracted tuberculosis during the run of The Emerald Isle, and eventually he had to withdraw from the role. In October 1901, a benefit matinee was given for him at the Savoy by well-known performers including Rutland Barrington, Arthur Borchia, Ada Reeve, Marie Tempest, Richard Temple, Violet Vanbrugh, and, in the second act of The Emerald Isle, the Savoy company of the time, led by Rosina Brandram. With his wife and young son, they sailed to Australia hoping that the voyage and a dry climate would give him renewed strength. He made a brief recovery, but relapsed and he returned to Britain, and he died on the 27th of November 1902 at the age of 28. He was buried in the Mumbles area of Swansea.